Proper technique makes you a more flexible guitar player. However, so the title and the opening is just clickbaity more than anything else. I would love for you to hear my reasons why I teach using the thumb and the index for the strumming. I'm a guitar teacher, been teaching for over 10 years now, and when students come to me to learn how to play guitar, the first thing I'll do when I teach them how to strum is to use the index finger to strum downwards and the thumb to strum upwards. Is that because this way of strumming is more conventional. This way of strumming not only produces a more consistent sound where you get both the nails of both fingers, but more importantly, I think of it as a more default way of strumming the guitar. Kind of like a very baseline level of strumming the guitar, which works very well if you stick to it. And what happens is that maybe you try other songs that has different techniques where you end up strumming differently. When you learn these different techniques, at the end of the day, you can still come back to this technique. One problem that I've seen happen over the years is that when people start with a technique that doesn't seem to be the conventional technique, it's very difficult for them to learn other techniques, or they are very much stuck with this particular technique. One example I can give you is strumming with a pick. A lot of people, when you start learning guitar, they start learning how to strum with a pick. And for my students, I get them to strum without the pick because I've realized over the years, when I teach some people who have started learning with using the pick to strum, they find it very difficult to move over to the fingers to do anything else. They are pretty much stuck with using the pick. Whereas for the students that have started using the fingers only, meaning the index and the thumb on the way up, it is much easier for them to try out other things like using the pick and always come back to this. This always acts as a default position to start with. So that's what I meant by proper technique means that it makes you a more flexible player. It just makes it more adaptable for you to try other things that you can always come back to a more default position to. Also, if you've missed this out, I think I like the idea of using the index for the strumming down and the thumb on the way up. It's really because the sound that you create is more consistent. In your case, when you use your thumb only, for example, you're going to find that the sound you produce, because you're using the flesh of the thumb, is going to be a lot more muted and a lot more warm, which might be a sound that you're going for, but one danger is that you'll get stuck only being able to produce this type of sound when you limit it to your thumb, for example. However, compared to the other classical instruments like the violin or even the classical guitar, the modern guitar is still relatively considered a very new discipline. So nothing is set in stone yet. There is no one fixed way of playing it. At the end of the day, if you find that playing the thumb suits the best for you, I think all the more power for you to just stick with that. But just realize that one danger is that you might get stuck with that technique and find it difficult to try something else. Hopefully this helps.